A good early morning here from Websites for Beginners with JP, and this is Zion Reconstructed, episode 2. And what we'll be making in Mr. Zion today is a hero banner, like we did before, but we add a few more things here and there to it. This one I've added, now I'm not sure what it's called, a separator to it, and then we've also added some background. This is called a shape divider. I think it's also called a separator divider. We'll check again when we go into Zion Builder. Each builder has its own decisions how they want to call these things. And then from that one, we're going to turn it into a stunning, professional looking hairdresser saloon kind of hero banner. Please come and have your hair done. Or maybe, skincare or makeup, whatever it could be, but you can make it look good. The whole purpose of this design is where we have everything and it appears on the left, and then we have this open space on the right. As it is with this hero banner, it is acceptable and it looks pretty good. If you want to bring in an image, this is a purposeful decision that you have to make. Because if you look at the image at the bottom, we call it the image feel like it leans to the right. It is a little bit more heavy on the right side. And if we were to put this image in the middle and you put text over it, it will feel off. Number one, the model is looking to her left. She's clearly looking at something. So these are just a few design decisions we make. So we put her on the right, which puts a lot of weight on the right of this block. And then instead of putting our text in the middle, which will make it completely feel unbalanced, you'll have all the focus over here, plus text here. Your left side will feel like it's going to float up into the air or just tilt over. And because of that, we group our text and our elements together and we balance it off on the left. That's what we do here. This is especially important for this image. Not so much the motivation when we're doing it like this, but definitely when we're doing it as such. And I want you from the beginning to understand a little bit how we're going to be working with Zion. If you remember from episode 1, and if you don't, and if you've never worked with Zion, I recommend go check out episode 1 first to give you some basic idea of what is where within this builder. For example, how do you load Google Fonts? We'll still do that in this tutorial as well, but I won't stick around those topics too long. I'll move on quicker as we go through these videos. Everything happens within a section, and a section is this blue box, which you cannot clearly see, but it is there. Let's choose this image here. I'll double click to select it. It also opened the editor for me here. Close it, but then you will see the blue box of this one. Then we have a column, and the column is this yellow box that you see. And the elements, they appear within that light blue, baby blue boxes inside our column. I want you to note, you see that one column? That's all you see. There is no second column here. And this is where Zion has a few interesting features I've not seen in other builders, but it's based on the concept of how the grids and the flex boxes work. So when you start playing around with Zion and you have a little understanding of those concepts, you're going to enjoy it because you're going to see it there and spot them. If you don't know, then that's why this beginner's tutorial is for you, because I show you a few things here and there. I learn, you learn, we all learn. And if you see something else, please let me know. But we're going to achieve this in a very easy way. Let's go into Zion. This is my builder. And from Pages, before I go to Pages, I actually want to use a different font in this tutorial. And if you remember, unfortunately in Zion, you cannot add the Google fonts that you want to use while you are building on the page. You have to do it here from the Zion Builder dashboard. Within the WordPress administration area, you go to the navigation bar on the left, hover over Zion Builder, and select again Zion Builder. And from Zion Builder, we're going to choose the Google fonts here. Font options, Google fonts, and you will see the one we used last time, Poppins. Didn't disappear since then. It's stuck around. We're going to add another font. click Add Font, and this one is called Work Sans. Then go to the plus here, and it will add Work Sans. Or did it? We also know that it has only added the regular font weight. We want to load all the font weights. The reason it does this is to preserve memory, loading time, all that kind of jazz. You may be extremely happy about it. You may find it an extra step. I'm indifferent to it. Click here on the regular, and then you select the font weights that you want to use here. 100, 200, 300, 500, and 900 little piggies. And that apparently saves it. I also just want to show you from the plugins, installed plugins, what we are using. I have as a theme Bloxy. You don't really need it. You don't need a WordPress theme because Zion will allow you to build out your own headers and footers and templates. Those are topics that we will discuss in a different series here on Websites for Beginners. What I want to focus on are the two that we have installed. This Zion Builder is a free builder. And I think basically everything we are showing you in these tutorials, you can do with the free builder. So you can go and test it for free. Zion Builder, and that's at version 2.4.1. The same for Zion Builder Pro, also at 2.4.1. So at the time of the making of this video, we were at 2.4.1. Let's create that page. Pages, add new. And we'll call this Recon 02. Publish. Page published. Good. And edit with Zion Builder. Like before, this new page that we get will come in with our theme settings. Header up here, footer here, and page title. Go to the sidebar on the left, here to the settings. Click on it and page options. Page layout, we select page builder blank canvas so that we can have a page that is completely white to use. To save, remember, you're in the bottom left corner of the sidebar. You can hover over it and then select if you want to save a template, a page, or if you want to save and publish this. We want to use most of the time save and publish. You can also just click on it. You don't need to hover or anything. You just click on the check mark, similar to Visual Composer if you have used that, or the shortcut key Control Command S. It's going to give you save as well. Close out the options. Let's stick around a little bit and explore Zion's layout functions. Up here on the plus, this is where you bring in elements for your canvas. And last time we had worked with this one over here. Let's do it again, because tonight we're also going to be doing that. It's actually morning. No idea why I said tonight. Click on it and then click outside so we can go back to the page. Hover here at the top. And what we have is we've got our, over here, this is our section. And then in here, in the section, we have got our column. Undo, Control Z, Command Z. Then let's go for the next one. Let's choose the double column. Now, click outside, you see the two pluses. And where the yellow plus appears, it's an indication that you can bring in more content or more containers. Hover over it, we see that we have our section, one column, two column. And it makes it easy with this layout view in the top right of the sidebar. Click on that, you have the opportunity to view it as a tree view, section view, or wireframe. The wireframe will give you a clear indication of what is going on here. Our section and a column in there. Let's go back. I'll put it on tree view, and you can unfold this label here to also see what's going on. Let's undo this, or let's delete it. I'll go up to the section toolbox, edit options, and then select delete element here. And we add one with 3 columns. You know what to expect at this moment. I unfold the section, 3 columns. I hover over here, 3 columns. Nothing spectacular here, but now we get to how these columns are set in width. And this is where Zion is set apart from others. And the first time I saw it, I looked at it and I thought, what is that setting up there? Let me take you to the setting first. To go into the settings of any section or element or column, you double click on it. And then it opens up for us the columns options over here. I'll close this out. And then we work here with column width. And what is this all about? All the way from 1 to 12, as well as a feature of auto. And we'll only focus on this one because we'll be using it in the tutorial. And I think just to get your head around as to how these columns are structured is a good idea to work with this area quickly first. This is actually a 12-column grid that we work with. And it's very common in design, especially it started in HTML design for websites as a way to lay out the page. It's a design principle, the 12 columns. If you're not sure what I mean, I found this example online. Yes, it's bright yellow, but it gives you an idea of how a 12-column grid works. Here at the bottom, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 12. This is your columns. And what you see here with a 12-column grid is how you can group the smaller columns into bigger columns and basically gives you any kind of grid that you need. You can have a 5 to 7. You can have a 1 to 1, which is 50%. You can have a, a 9 to 3, which is actually just a 3 to 1. But it gives you all these options to make easy layouts with a 12-column grid. Now, if I group 4 of these, how do I select them? Can I? Like this. If I group these 4, I have taken up 33%, a third of my page. So by grouping 4, I assign it a third of the width. By grouping 6, 50% of the width. Do you get me? Let me show you. Into the builder, and I wish, like I said in episode 1, I wish there was a way that when I had selected this column, it is somehow highlighted on the page that I actually know I'm working with this column. The moment you hover away from it, it disappears. You don't know which column is selected. So you're working with 3 columns, but no cooking clue which one you are affecting. So remember, I've selected the first one. If you can take a guess now, I just showed you 12 columns. If you select 4, it means the width of this column is 1, 2, 3, 4 combined, which means it's a third. So this column is a third of the space available within the section. What do you think is the setting of the second column? And you may be tempted to say 8, but that's wrong. Remember, this one is by itself. If I double click on the second column, you won't see anything change, but that is also 4. And we can quickly change the background color of these columns just so that you can have an idea that they are not the same. This is the background color. Okay. Click on this one. Double click. Wrapper background. And then change to hue. And double click on that column. Wrapper background. And we put this one. Okay, at least we've got 3 of them now, so you can clearly see. I'll double click on the first one, it's set to 4. Double click on the second one, set to 4. And you should know, double click on the third one, set to 4. This is because each one of them is a third out of 12. 4 columns combined gives you a third, gives you 33 and a third percent. If I wanted to have 4 columns here, it means each one will take 25%. That means I have to put the first column on 3. And look what happens to the first column when I select 3. It takes up 25% of the canvas width. Click on the next one, double click, remember, 3. And then I'll double click here, 3. I've got now 3 columns. If I duplicate this one, I'll right click, duplicate, I'll have a 4th one because I've set all of them now to 25%. We can change the color of this one. Choose this. Okay. And this is how the column structure works. If I double click on the first one and I change it to 50%, 50% will be 6 out of 12. it's going to push these guys and then break into a next line. That is the wrapping. It's wrapping it within the container. Now I can click on this one, and let's say I put this also to 50%, like so. And I can click on the last one, and I'm going to put the last one on 9. Do you see what kind of grids you can build out with this? You just have to remember that 9 out of 12 is basically 3 or 4, which is 75%. It sounds like extra math you have to do, but especially for someone like me who understands the 12-column grid very well, I really like this. I just think many people are not going to know where this comes from, especially if you are a beginner. Play around a little bit with it. You've got nothing to lose. Just open a page and mess around with it. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it freak you out, because it's very easy to use. There's one more function here, auto. What happens if you select a column? Let's select this one and put it on auto. In the case of auto, because all of these other guys have specific settings, auto will take up the space not used. So let's put all of them on auto, and you will see what will happen. Now they will space equally according to the container width. And if I right-click on any of them and duplicate it, they will keep expanding or contracting depending on how many of these columns there are within the section. Good. There's column offset as well. We're not going to talk about these guys, but have a good idea then of how this section with the columns work. I've shown you all of that. Let's delete it. Right-click, delete here at the bottom. I'll close the column options, and then we bring in actually just a one-column section, again like we did before. Click outside so you can see it. Same like before, and you can check your wireframe as well if you need something more visual for that. Change the background color of the section. Hover over it until you see the blue line for the whole section. That's usually here on the sides. And then double-click on it. Styling, wrapper, background. And then we go to select background color, and we add a hex color here. I'm using a color palette from a website called flatUIcolors.com. Great if you're into flat color design. Check this out. It's a free tool online, and they've got a few palettes here from around the world. Let's choose the Spanish palette for this one. And then all you need to do is click here on copy for the hex color. And you can also change the values up here. We'll keep it to the first one. Let's do a little bit different color here. Devil blue. Copy. Zion Builder. And I'll paste my hexadecimal code here. And there we get our color. Very nicely done. Close the tree view panel. We don't need that. Now we bring content onto our page and we put it inside a column. That's why we have a section and then a column. We can click here on the yellow icon with the plus, and then under elements we search for the first one is a heading element. We have this strange feature again, text heading, text heading. No idea why it does that. Click on heading and then let's go and change it out. Double click somewhere to select it. And then I will just here in the text editor on the left type in lorem ipsum dolor, because I know these three words so well already. And then we can make changes. I'll put it on an HTML tag of H3. Align to the left, that's right. And then styling, we go to wrapper, typography, font family, and we want work sans. And where is my work sans? Same thing like last time? No. Here is the thing. I struggled for a very, very long time with it. I tried to type in here work sans to find it, but you see, this is not searchable. You can't click in there and look for it. It boggled my mind until by mistake I scrolled and I realized you can scroll down, and work sans just happens to be the last font of this group. So with this being said, I wish I can remove these other guys if this is the case, so that I don't have to scroll to find the font I want to use every time. Of course, if this is the font that you're going to be using every time, you can actually set it up as a global feature. We don't cover that in this video, but there is still a way you can get around this. Work sans, I select that, and then the font weight for work sans, we're going to put on 300. Font color, Let's go for white. Font size 14. And then line height. Default pixels, not a good idea. Put it on M. And this is something, you guys, please put it for us by default to M. And then for this one, I'll just type in 1. And then letter spacing 1. And for our capitalization, we'll choose here uppercase. There. So things look a little bit squashed at the moment. Let's just save our work. Control-Command-S. Let's add padding to the top and the bottom to give us more visual space to work with. I'll go to the section, to the top, then click, hold, and drag. Oops, nope. Let's try it again. Click, hold, and drag. And then to link the two sides, the opposite sides, you simply hold Control on your keyboard. Now you've linked them. And to make them move incrementally in pixel values of 5 at a time, hold Shift as well. And I'll take it there to 110 pixels. So boom, there I leave it. Let's hover over it. What have we got? We got our section in dark blue. Then we have our column in yellow. And then here we have our text element in light baby blue. Under this, we bring in another heading. Simply go to the light blue, click on the plus, elements, and I want another heading. I type in heading. And now it doesn't even give me heading. No idea, but this is annoying. So you have to go down and actually search for it. Do the same, make sure it is selected. You can go up here to open heading toolbox. And I'm going to bring in a little bit of longer text. So I'll go to loremipsum.io and I'll just grab something a little bit longer. Copy, paste, and we'll call this H2. Styling, wrapper, typography, same procedure. Scroll down, work sounds, and color. Font weight, I think. See, it comes in dark because we put 400. Font size 40. Letter spacing, we'll take it down to a minus. I've clicked inside the value box and now I'll click, hold, and drag down with my mouse and I'll take it to around -2. And then put it on uppercase. The line height, I will give it an M value of 1.6. And the reason I give it 1.6 is because we'll break this line and we'll need some space to read it better. Under this, we bring in a little paragraph that will tell us more about our product. So that's another text element. For this one, you don't need the heading. Click here on the blue icon elements. You can use an element called text. There you go. Click on text. This will give you a simple text editor. I'll double click on it. You see nothing fancy going on here. It's already set to paragraph. We grab some longer text here. Let's make it a long, nice paragraph. Like this one. Select everything here and paste it. That's quite long. Let's reduce it a little bit. Okay. Doom, doom, doom. Style it out, go to styling, wrapper, typography, work sans, and we'll put it at 300, font color, also white, font size 14, it's very small. Line height, again, we have to put it on M. We'll put it 1.6 again, and then letter spacing none, but we'll put it on uppercase. Next, align. Go onto the page where the blue is, elements, and this one, let me scroll down and see if I can find it under content, is a separator. Here, separator. This is what we're looking for. Let's see if we type it in, if we can find it. Yeah, we find 3 of them. There's the separator. Double click on it to select it. We have the separator then here. Solid line, that's what we want. Line color, let's put it on white. Width is 100%. I'll put it to pixels and I'll keep it at 100 pixels. Nice. Line thickness, you see 5, and this is in pixels. This is a big lie. You see that thin line? I can tell you that is not 5 pixels. That's probably 1 pixel. And I'll prove it to you. Just click in there. I'll use the up and down arrow keys on my keyboard. and I'll take it down to 4. And as I do that, do you see how thick the line gets? So from 5 to 4, impossible, I'd say. And then we align it to the left. So alignment up here, click on that, and then we're done. We're done with that little nice line that we created. Very simply done, appreciated. And I even appreciate that even though color is actually a styling feature, they put it for us under general. Smart thinking here, 10 out of 10. Last but not the least, we bring in a button for call to action. Click again here on the light blue, baby blue, teal, elements. Let's search for button, see if we can find it. Yeah, doesn't want to give us a button. We have to search it by ourselves. Button. And I only needed the one, but it gave me the 2. So I click on this one. I hope there's no difference between the 2. I'll go to the button container, double click, and we know the button is selected. It will say up here, button options. Button text, type in view more. Select an icon. We bring in an icon, and I'll search for arrow. And let's see, we've got a number of arrows here. Let's go for this one. Good, we've got an arrow link, HTTPS, and then websites for beginners. Same window, nope. New window. We want it to open in a separate window. We have a few types here. This is again if you have preset styles, which we actually have here. But for us, this is a primary button. Button shape, normal. That's what it currently is, which I think is sharp corners, semi-rounded, and rounded. Now it's pill shape. We'll change the color, then you'll see it much better. Sizes, small, normal, medium is already quite large, and then large. So I'll drop it to medium. Our position is on the left. Icon position, left, right, and you even have a top and a bottom, but we'll put it on the right. Let's go and style it out, which is color changes. And remember, this is done to the button styles. Click on button styles and then background. I'll go back to my Spanish palette and let's choose something that will nicely contrast with that. Actually, these are all nice. Let's go for the orange, synthetic pumpkin. Go back here and then select background and we paste our hex color in there. That's changed nicely. And then you see there's a hover effect for the text, which we will have to change. So click back on button styles, typography. Let's make our changes first here. We put it on work sans. Font weight, I'll make it a little bit thicker to 600. Color, for good measure, I'll put it on white. Pixels, 16. And then letter spacing, I'll leave it there. We just make it uppercase. I want to add more padding to the left and the right of this button. So let's go back, and then that will be under size and spacing. Padding, and then right here and left here. I'll give that around 35. Let's put it on 40 then. 40 pixels. This one also 40 pixels. Gives it a little bit more handle and area. The hover effect disappeared now, but we would like to bring in a hover effect so that people can see when we make changes to this button. So click back, and under the button styles, before you go into any of these settings, we select next to default from the drop-down, the hover state. Now, next, let's go and make changes to the background first. So we click on background. You see no color selected. I should still have that color, Control-Command-V, and then I'll just reduce the opacity. Now, in fact, let's make it lighter. And it's not a good idea to think when you reduce opacity, it looks lighter here. But remember, you have a dark background. So it's not going to be lighter. It's actually going to be murky. So all I do is I go up here in the color selector, light is to the left. You see? So I just drag the slider to the left. Now it's not opaque. You see, it will do this. Let's click back. We're still under the hover. Let's go to transform. Transform is going to allow us to play around and mess a little bit with this button. Click here on add new transform property and then select it. And I will choose rotate. And then from here, let's say we rotate it on the y-axis. I'll just hit down on my arrow key, -3, hover here to see what it does. I didn't see no nothing, but I think it does have an effect. Let's save it. And then, oh, let's go back and put it on default first. I didn't see anything. Let's see if we view it on the front end. Yeah, the rotate on the y-axis did not do anything. Let's go back to that, put it on hover, transform, remove this one, add new transform property. It worked for me. Maybe the Y is not the right thing. Let's just click here on rotate. This worked for me. -3, hover over it. Ah, there we go. We can even take it down to -7. I'm curious, what happens if I only say rotate X? Okay, got that. Rotate Y. Okay, it does this. So I did very little. If I go negative, okay, got it. I really don't know. And that is rotate Z. Let's take the Z rather. -25 degrees. Like so. Make it less. There we go. And there you have a little bit of rotate applied when people hover over it. There is another feature here that I want to point out, and that is the transition speed. Currently, as I take the cursor, when I hover over that button, the movement, the time it takes for that movement to occur is your transition speed, and you have control over that. Click back here on transform again, and then here you will see transitions are kept separately. So click on that. And because we only have this transition here, you can simply go to transition duration. And if I drag it up to 2000 milliseconds, which is 2 seconds, I hover over it, you're going to see that that transition is going to take 2 seconds. By that time, your user and visitor long gone. But I still want a little bit slower, so I'll take it down to around 200 milliseconds. Slightly slower. And that's it. Click back. We can put it back on default. Nice. Close this. What have we got here then? Everything, our content is on the page, but it doesn't look good. And I'll probably say this a gazillion times during the tutorials. The most important part when it comes to website design is layout, structure. And the most important weapon to achieve that is usually space. And you'll hear we talk about negative space or white space. That is space, the part that you are not using. That gives your website its final look and makes it look good. And let me show you how we're going to do that. Now, first of all, I think that the first thing we have to do if we want to work properly is get this container to the right size. So I'll click here on the column, edit element, and now we come to the column width. If I want this column to be 50%, that is a 6. 6 out of 12 is 50%. I click on it, and do you see, as simple as that, it constrains my container to half of the size within the settings of the section. If I wanted something bigger, like 9, or even smaller, like a third. But as I click through this, I think 6, 50% works very well for me. By doing that, breaking these lines and not letting them run so far across the screen, which is sometimes not that easy to read, especially from the left side, it looks better. It looks like a website design. Now we know that there's a few more things we need to change. This line, we need to add some space to the top and the bottom between these elements. It looks too squashed. To do that, you can go to any of these elements. Hover outside the bounding box until you see I think it's a yellow line. Click, hold, and drag. And I'll add around 40 pixels here. And we do the same at the bottom. Click, hold, and drag. and I'll add 75 pixels here. And I can hold Shift on my keyboard to constrain it. Takes me easily to 75 pixels. Let's close this. You see how great that looks? That was really super easy. I'll add a little bit more space here. Let's put it on 125 pixels. Save, Control, Command S. Double click again on your section. So where you see the blue, and then under section options, scroll down shape dividers. Okay, called shape divider. Click on shape divider. And here, I think still a lot to be done, especially the amount of shape dividers. So underwhelming. It's really, really underwhelming. And there's still a few things that can be expanded upon here. Top or bottom, I'll select the bottom shape divider and let's choose this one over here. That will give us this shape divider. It's very strange. It adds this big, thick white bar at the bottom. I think before we look at this, I want to show you there's a glitch at the moment with the top mask. So you're not in a position to use the top mask at all, especially not for a Euro banner. If I select the top mask, you see it's there at the top, and you'll be very impressed and think, hey, this looks pretty good. Let's save it, save and publish. We go to the front end, and the bug hunter tells us there is a bar. You see this bar at the top? And yeah, it's there all the time. You're not going to get rid of it. The bottom one doesn't suffer from the same disease, but the top one has that bug. It's not getting rid of. So for the top one, we don't want a mask. And here is a strange thing. Let's see if I can delete it. Delete. Nope, it doesn't delete. Okay, there's a bug. And then if I go to select the top mask and it discard changes, nope, it doesn't do that. So I have to go to add a mask to your element, discard it from here, and that deletes both the top and the bottom. So like I said, this shape divider, not ready in my opinion. Bottom masks, still a lot of work to be done here, but we'll get away with that. Okay, so I apply this one, then add color mask. Nope. Here you can play around with the height. We'll put it over the button like so, and we can flip it. Yeah, let's flip it because it gives it a little bit of impact on the right. In this case, we don't really need this shape divider. Save it. Let's go and look at it on the front end, refresh this, and this looks fine. Next up is responsive design. Close this on the sidebar, monitor, laptop. Laptop should be fine, but I want to add a little bit of padding on the left and the right. Go to the section on the left or on the right. Let's take it from the right, where you see that little blue bar appears. Click, hold, and drag. And then we will link it by holding Control. And I'll put it on around 80 pixels. Just give it a little bit of space. This still looks good. It breaks into 3 lines now. Does that bother us? Yeah, let's say it bothers you. Let's go to this one. And now we know we need to make it bigger. So I'm going to put the column on 5. No, oh, bigger. It should be 7. Good, so 7. And if we go back to desktop, you're going to see it's still at 6. So very nice and responsive. Tablet is next. So again, I will reduce actually some of this now. So let's hold Control and drag the down to 50. That was laptop. Previous one was laptop. Go again to my edit element. And we'll put this on 7 as well. No, 8. No, 9. There we go, 9. You can see we work a little bit with it that way. And then finally, last one up for a shave is my mobile device. The mobile device is going to bother me a lot because we know that the display we see here is just way too wide. We need something much more narrower, and we cannot achieve that within Zion at this moment. I cannot drag the display narrower so I can get my cell phone display clearly set to something that is very narrow. And to overcome this, I will then go into my Sissy Developer app so I can monitor it from there. Let me just select this one here. And where is Sissy? This is the previous one. Control V. Let's enter that. There we go. Okay, so you can see our desktop, our laptop looks good. Here we go for our tablet device. No, we need space here. And then if we look at our mobile, it doesn't look bad. But let's break it into 2 lines, which means we need to reduce the font size of our heading here. Otherwise, it's just a little bit too wide. Go back to the builder. And the first thing is I'll go again to tablet and I'll add heading here. Let's see. I want to see if that works. I think it also save and publish. Let's go to Sizzy. First, check our tablet. Make sure it does read it on the tablet. Looks much better. And let's make that again larger, our container, breaking into 3 again. Edit, put it on 10. Save and publish. Go to Sizzy. A little bit of back and forth. Okay, and that's because our iPad is much more narrow. So we can just go to that. Okay, I'm not going to mess around too much with that. We said here that we need to reduce the size. So I'll go to my edit element, styling, wrapper, typography, and it was at 40. I'm going to drop it down to 24, make it much smaller. I'll do the same for my text down here, which was at 14, which is already very difficult to read. But because I don't really want people to read that, it's just there for some fancy looking stuff, I'll put this on a 12. And then I'll go to my line, because I added space here, 75 pixels. I'll click and just reduce this to around 50 and the top one to around 30, just a little bit more. And make sure, go to our column, edit column on auto. That's good. Then everything is stacked for that. Let's save and publish. Go to Sizzy, update. And you see it works here, except too much padding. We forgot to take out the padding. And that's what you want to do for most mobile displays. So I go to the side, hold Control to remove it on all sides. And I'll just drop it a little bit. Okay, that should do the trick, Bobby. Bobby wasn't even listening. And now we go back. There we go. It looks better. And having viewed it now, we could probably bring in a little bit space here on the left and the right. Just checking the button. Button works nicely. Super duper. We passed this test. Now let's duplicate this section and then bring in that image. I'll put it back on desktop, sidebar desktop. I'll save it, Control-Command-S. I say that because I found for some reason when I duplicate this section, strange things happen on my page. Clone element. So now we have 2. I'll add space between these 2 so we can see a little bit better. So I'll go here and just drag. Ooh, no. Go here and add space. And maybe we can do the same at the bottom, but I cannot see that. So I'll double click on the section, styling, wrapper, size and spacing, and margin. Let's add 150 pixels at the bottom as well. There we've got that. Now let's we're already here. So we can just click back, go to background, and I will delete the background. Then go to the next one, which is also background. Click on that. Nope, that's gradient. And the next one, this is the image. Click on the image, and from your folder, your Explorer, your Finder, you bring in your image. And nope, not this one. Wait a minute, over here. Here we go. And add image. There we go. Now, a few things that we need to change here. I mentioned by default, I would prefer background size is set to cover. 99% of the times you're going to have it on cover, unless you have a specific something in mind. Then you can set your horizontal position here or here by adding in the values, or go here and click on expand, and that will give you the whole image plus the selector. If you don't see the selector, you need to click on expand first. So I'll drag it and I'll put it here on our nose to make sure that's always the focus. Our problem, very easy to understand here. Same as before, we need contrast. We cannot see our text. And we are going to do that by going back here, select back, and then go to background. And then next to our color, solid color, we're going to go to gradient and click on add new background gradient. We will add a black overlay first. So click here on the gradient settings, make sure it's selected, gradient bar, and then the color. I'll drag the selector to black. I'll grab the second one and also drag it to black. And now we want to reduce the opacity so that we can see. You do that with the color. Click on the color, reduce the opacity to around 40%. If you want to see 40%, you can just click here to something like HSL or RGB, and your A here will give you the value of your opacity. 0.28 means 28% opaque, so let's put it on 40. So we can put it back on 40. Right, same for this one. And I'll just drag that with an hexadecimal. Now, the only problem I have here is the whole point of having this stunning image completely lost. Now the image is faded out, the text comes out strongly again, and now my image feels unbalanced again. By having our model here on the right, you draw the focus of your visitor to this image, yet we subdue the image and we fade it out. So it is completely a contradiction of what we had wanted to achieve. And I chose this specific example to show you how you can fix that with a gradient. Let's put these gradients both back to 100%. Actually, there I achieved the effect I wanted to show you. So now it's fully black. Then you go to the gradient that's on the right, which is this one at the bottom, and you only reduce this one. And you can bring it all the way down. Now you have a much better effect. Your text, much clearer, and she is more pronounced. Still, there's this overlay of the gradient here in the middle that still makes it very difficult to see her face. Now what you do with that is you go here to the location. This gradient starts at 100%. I'll click inside the value box and hold, and then drag down. And you will see, look at the image, you will see that gradient stop moving. Let's take it back to 100% because there's a second way you can do that. Go here to the gradient bar, grab the selector on the right and drag it in. And you want to drag it in almost 50%, 47%, so that the entire right side of the image has no overlay applied at all. This is the original image. But on the left side, you have this gradient overlay. And that's it. Let's see how it will look on a laptop. Looks good. Tablet looks not good. So for our tablet, let's see if we have control over our image. I'll go to background. Where is my image? Here. And now it seems I have to add another image for the tablet. Let's try and do that. No image selected. I've not messed around with this, but what I want to achieve here is to move her face. Okay. But what is strange here, I don't see the gradient. Okay, so do we need to apply the gradient here as well? Seems like it. And I didn't test this, so this is all very new to me. I thought it looked okay. So let's do the same. You see, now it looks okay. Interesting. Okay. And then let's go and see if the laptop is still fine. Laptop is fine. Desktop is fine. Mobile should have had some changes. Mobile is okay. I don't think we're going to get away from the mobile dilemma we face with the text, but it should still look good on the front. So we go to Sissy because this is the only place we will know whether it is success or one massive failure. We are okay with the first one. Ooh, what happened up there? What did Zion do to us up here? Let me go back to the builder. I don't remember screwing anything up here at the top. No, it's fine. Our block lost all its settings. What is going on? Okay, I'm not going to go back and fix this, but clearly, you know, as I've mentioned, and I know the guys from Zion, they did watch the previous video. I didn't do anything. This happened all by itself. The block at the top got totally screwed up. No idea why that happened. I lost my column settings. So my column that was on 0.6 or was at 6 is not at 6. I've lost something very strange here with my text. Let me go and have a look. Shouldn't waste time on this. It's on work sans. Everything is there. Letter spacing, we can put it at 0. What? Did I do that at the beginning? I don't remember. But anyway, but that wasn't a very nice thing to see. Nasty surprise. Bitter taste I have there. And see, there at the top. Nope. Still no. It's not reading that. Okay. I'm not doing this on purpose. I really want this to work. And it did work for the other one, but it's not working for this one. Yeah, and this is usually where I will just scrap everything and start designing again from the beginning. I mentioned to you when we're going to duplicate the section, something's going to happen. I didn't expect that to happen, but there is clearly an issue when you duplicate something. I've run into other issues when duplicating, and those didn't appear today, but this new gremlin popped up and kind of threw me off track here for a total big moment that I don't even know how to respond or where to start with this. Anyway, we are not here to troubleshoot and find the bugs. Actually, we're here to look at how you can actually reconstruct it. Let's see if we at least achieved some success with this image that we have here at the bottom. Absolutely no problem for our desktop. And our MacBook Air looks very good. Let's see here on our tablet. That one is fine. But our problem that we have on our mobile device is that she is now all the way squashed. And we only have this hair, which makes it look a little bit hairy. Pardon the pun. So let's go back and scroll down. I'll put it on mobile. And then we're going to change the background. So column, I'll select section up here. Styling, wrapper, background, image. And I wish the image was still there, but it isn't. So I have to bring in the image again. That's nice if you wanted that kind of responsiveness, different images for it. But at the same time, I would have also just liked, so I will put it here. So we have her nose still in it. And luckily the gradient is still applied. Let's see if that solved it or whether that screwed up everything major. Nope. What? Oh, did I change the wrong one? Please, no. Please, no. No. Okay. Okay, I have to start laughing now because now things are going terribly wrong. Let me just clear my cache here and reset this. Why did it change the image at the top for my mobile? Let me go. Maybe I did it on mobile. Let me see. Yes, I did. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Anyway, that one I screwed up. I take full responsibility for that one. That one design guys can be laughing at me. Let's do it again. Change the image. Okay. Add image and then make sure it's set to cover again because background repeat. And make sure it's cover because let's see now if we drag it here. Oh, what a beautiful morning. And I've only had that 1 cup of coffee. Serves me right. But we'll try and get there. Okay, here we go. It looks better, but because we brought in that image, and this is what confused me, we need to apply the gradient overlay again. So make sure it's the right one that I've selected here, and I'll go back to gradient. And now by this time, it should go faster. Anything is possible. And I'll put it on black, and then actually I can just put it on transparent all the time. And We'll probably leave a little bit more of the gradient in because this is a full width display. Update. Looks much better. Okay, that took a little bit of work. I screwed up this one, but guess what? I also fixed it. And I screwed up that one. That's my fault. This one that's happening here on desktop, I have no idea where that is coming from. Select desktop. You can see here my desktop all looks fine. Just to see if I put it on edit and I put it on auto like it was at the beginning. And save and publish. Refresh. I cannot give you a solution for that. We can dive into that, find out what's going on there. But that's not my job. So, a big no-no, major no-no. We'll keep testing Zion because I want Zion to get better. I love competition and I love diversity. And I enjoy working with this builder. I do have to say, though, that when things like that happen, it's a waste of time. Because I either have to rebuild it or I have to spend hours on trying to fix it. And at this moment, you definitely don't want that. So we'll keep working with Zion in upcoming Reconstructed, and we'll root for Zion, and hopefully Zion can finish these. And from the, what is it? I forgot what is the current build. We can hopefully see some updates and bug fixes to this very soon. That brings us to the end of this Reconstructed. I look at the bottom one and I feel highly satisfied, and then I look at the top one and there's disappointment in my soul and being for this morning. But I at least feel that we've achieved something here. I'm going to go finish my cup of coffee. Then I'm going to go take the dogs for a walk because the rain has also stopped. It's a great morning, and I hope you enjoyed this video, even with the gremlins that came at us hard and fast this morning. We still got it and made it to the end. Thanks for supporting Websites for Beginners. I really appreciate that. From me, JP, have a great day, stay safe, and I'll see you then again in the next video.